What's going on, everyone? Today is February 28th. It is Wednesday. We are here for your midweek review. Hope everyone has a good, insightful trading week so far, and we will continue to have one as the week goes on. A couple things to note before we get into the charts. Tomorrow, Thursday, February 29th, it is a leap day. So keep that in mind. That day usually does not occur. So I'm curious to see what happens in the markets. There are a lot of news. At 8:30 a.m., you have core PCE price indexing, which is monthly. On top of that, at 8:30, you also have unemployment claims. And then at 9:45, you have a Chicago PMI. At 10 a.m., you have a pending home sales, which is monthly. You do have G20 meetings again tomorrow all day, so that's tentative. And then at 1:15 p.m., you have an FOMC member speaking. So just keep that in mind. And then on Friday, you also at 10 a.m. have an ISM manufacturing PMI and a revised consumer sentiment, and then manufacturing prices on top of that. So we still got some news. We have been kind of ranging this week with regards to the higher time frames, and we will go ahead and get into it. Henry, you have anything else before we jump into it?
No, all good.
All righty. So getting into it, we do have 1 day and 2 hours left until this monthly candle closes. So you can see as of right now, if we were to close where we are, we basically have closed below this SIBI. So I'm curious to see how that plays out going into March. But other than that, that's the only thing that I'm really noting. On a monthly time frame, we do have the SIBI in here, and we've overall respected the consequent encroachment of it. So if we do close below it, I'm curious to see how we react with regards to this high potentially holding. On a weekly time frame, only other thing to note, really, like I said, we have not really moved a whole lot. We have been ranging. We have not taken out the previous week's low or the previous week's high. We've just remained inside that weekly range. We have basically played in and around this weekly BIST as well. We currently are still above it. So we're at right now, we're trading above it. And you can see the equilibrium of this low to this high is also still trading with regards to where price is trading. It's just accumulating more orders in and around that equilibrium. So on a weekly, we're still looking at this weekly BIST, still respecting it, still hanging around equilibrium. So there's no displacement that's been seen here. And then on a daily, we also have a range as well. We have a volume imbalance in here that we've kind of been playing with. We spiked up today, but still are closing back inside this weekly BIST. There's really nothing here from my standpoint with regards to where I see price going. I'm relatively still neutral until we do see displacement. So once we see displacement one way or the other, I'm curious to know, how that looks, whatever direction it is. There is no SIBIs in here, right? We do have a volume imbalance right here. We do have a volume imbalance up here. And we have filled all of the displacement within this run higher. And we did tap into the monthly open once. So other than that, there's really nothing else that I'm really looking for. You could obviously look at the consequent encroachment of this wick. You can see we tapped into here and moved higher, but still there's no displacement. So until I see any further displacement on this chart, whether it be higher or lower, I'm not necessarily going to hold weight to a bias. Still neutral, still just waiting, sitting on my hands. That's 90% of the game. Other than that, that's really all I have for dollar. Just going to still wait and watch. All you, Henry.
Okay. Take a look at indices. Starting with ES here. So just starting on your monthly chart, we've been seeing bullish order flow. No reason to fight against it yet. Haven't seen any sort of violation of a discount array on a monthly, weekly, or daily time frame. And so still just remaining to follow along with the bullish order flow and reach up to liquidity and inefficiency above the market. So right now we would just have liquidity resting above the current month's high. And so the expectations are that until we see violation of a discount array on your monthly, weekly, or daily time frame, the expectation is to still reach up to the buy side up here. Okay. Just noting there are 23 hours, almost 24 hours left on this candle right here before the closure of the monthly candle. And we're noting whether it closes above or below the prior month's high. I can give an indication of in March how we may be in trading on the start of that new monthly candle. Since we do have inefficiency resting below, these are areas that can be returned into if we have a deeper retracement. And closing below that previous monthly candle's high would give a better indication of March being likely to trade into these inefficiencies. Closing above it would indicate that March could continue working up into the buy side up here. Jump down to a weekly chart here. And we can just start by noting, oops, looks like I got buy side marked twice there. On a weekly chart here, so far we've seen an immediate rebalance. So when we opened, there was inefficiency between this candle's high and the opening price of this candle, which has now been traded back through. Sell side delivery right there, back into this candle's high. So that's an immediate rebalance. And if we're going to continue working higher, we can do so off of this area and reach up into the buy side here. So now if we're going to reach into a little bit deeper of a discount, we can see this as an area that we can draw into. The midpoint of this wick here, the candle body of the down close candle, and then as far as the mean threshold of this down close candle, the midpoint of that. So you can take your fib and put it on high to low and find the mean threshold. And you just wouldn't want to see weekly closure below that mean threshold. If you do, then we can start reaching back down into the previous month's high and discount arrays below. As long as we're finding closure at or above that mean threshold of this down close candle, then my expectation would still be that we do reach up into the buy side up here above the prior week's high. Now into a daily chart, you can see how we've come into the overlapping high and the daily BISI right here. That's a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. It's delivered the buy side and it's inefficient on sell side or down close delivery here. So we've just been trading in and around the upper portion of the daily BISI, showing nice respect for it so far. And we can continue to see price utilize this as a discount array and trade up toward the buy side up here. So still from a higher time frame perspective, focused on price trading toward the buy side, and then just utilizing that weekly bullish order block right here to give an indication of whether price is likely going to continue trading up there or trade back lower into deeper discount arrays. So just using the mean threshold of that. I'll move over to NASDAQ. Same idea really as ES. We're trading above the prior month's high at the moment, a little bit closer to it though than ES is. So I want to see tomorrow and in the next 24 hours, where does this monthly candle close? If it closes back below the prior month's high, then we have inefficiency in here that can be drawn back toward. And if it closes above it, then we can continue reaching up for the buy side above this month's high right here. Okay. Drop down to a weekly time frame. And you can see, oh, got that marked as well. So you can see we reclaimed this weekly BISI down here last week, dropping into there and working back higher up into the buy side. And now we're just trading inside the range of this down close candle here and above the prior month's high as well. So if you're looking at what discount arrays exist to trade off of and reach up into higher prices, you have the prior month's high, which can be utilized, and you'd also have the mean threshold of this down close candle as well. And a little bit deeper than that, you can use the consequent encroachment of this wick. Okay. So I'm just waiting to see when price trades into discount arrays, do we see that lower time frame displacement back toward the upside using your 4-hour and 1-hour charts, and then we can follow along with that displacement back up toward the buy side up here. Dropping down to a daily chart, same thing we saw on ES, still just trading in and around the upper portion of the daily BISI right here, between this candle's high and this candle's low. We also have a volume imbalance down here. You don't see it when you change your settlement off, but I'm just noting that as well. So trading inside the BISI, and as long as we're finding closure in and above the consequent encroachment, the midpoint of that BISI, my expectation is that we do trade up into the buy side. If we are closing back below the consequent encroachment, then we have discount arrays lower that we can reach into. But as long as we're closing above it, we can continue trading toward the buy side. That is it for me on NASDAQ here. Carson, any last thoughts on the indices?
Nope, I'm good. We're just right now, you have to realize when we have these large ranges on higher time frames, that comes with potential higher time frame consolidation, right? The market's not going to move in one direction all the time. So please note that just like we do have small ranges that we will consolidate in and time distort in, we also have higher time frame ranges that we are going to consolidate in and time distort in. So don't think that you're going to be more patient in the market. Don't think that you're going to miss a move that hasn't even already happened yet, right? You have to be very patient and you have to stay on your hands. And this is where it tests a lot of character, because, you know, you can get caught and you can be very susceptible to a lot of things, and you can save yourself a lot of time, money, and headaches just being patient. The move will show itself, right? We have no idea where dollar is going to go next. We have the idea that we have already taken plenty of buy side liquidity on indices, and with that came larger ranges, and we are now just inside those ranges. So when we have these inside ranges, we have to just remain patient and know that price will show its hand when it's ready, and we will not make that ready, right? We're not going to make the market move. So we've got to be patient and wait for it to do it, and then follow from there. Other than that, just trade safe going into this week. We've got monthly closure, so curious to see where the month closes, and curious to see where we go in March.
Sweet. Sounds good. See you tomorrow morning, 8:45 for chart chat. Take care. Be safe. We'll talk to you then.
Peace.